Ever wondered what keeps a cell's contents intact, yet allows it to interact with its environment? This fascinating question takes us into the microscopic world of cells, where life's most basic processes occur. Key to these processes is a structure of paramount importance, yet often overlooked. A structure that acts as a gatekeeper, a protector, and a communicator. What is this crucial component, you ask? Well, the answer lies in a thin, flexible barrier called the cell membrane. The cell membrane, also known as the plasma membrane, is a biological marvel. It's not just a simple wall around the cell. Oh no, it's much more than that. It's a sophisticated structure, a dynamic entity that's always on the move, always changing, always adapting. Let's break it down, shall we? Imagine a sandwich. The cell membrane is similar, but instead of bread and fillings, we have a lipid bilayer and embedded proteins. This lipid bilayer is made up of two layers of lipids, which are fat-like substances. Each lipid has a hydrophilic or water-loving head and a hydrophobic or water-fearing tail. The water-loving heads face outwards, towards the watery environment both inside and outside the cell, while the water-fearing tails are tucked away from the water in the middle of the bilayer. This arrangement is what gives the cell membrane its flexibility and fluidity. Now let's talk about the proteins embedded in this lipid bilayer. These are not just any proteins, these are integral proteins, and they are crucial for the functioning of the cell membrane. Some of them act as gatekeepers, controlling what goes in and out of the cell. Others serve as receptors, receiving signals from outside the cell and transmitting them inside. Still, others function as enzymes, catalyzing chemical reactions right there in the cell membrane. But that's not all. The cell membrane also contains cholesterol molecules. These guys are nestled between the lipids, providing stability and preventing the fatty acid chains of the lipids from sticking together. They also maintain the fluidity of the membrane, ensuring that it doesn't become too rigid or too fluid. So you see, the cell membrane is not just a simple barrier, but a complex structure with a critical role. It's a protective shield, a gatekeeper, a communicator, an enzyme factory, and a regulator of fluidity, all rolled into one. It's a testament to the intricate and elegant design of life at the cellular level. Let's take a closer look at the fascinating structure of the cell membrane. Imagine the cell membrane as a sort of bouncer for the cell. It decides who gets in and who doesn't. But what makes it so selective? The answer lies in its unique structure. At the heart of the cell membrane is the lipid bilayer, a double layer of lipids that forms the main structure of all cell membranes. The bilayer is composed of two types of molecules, phospholipids and cholesterol. The phospholipids are arranged so that their head regions, which are attracted to water, face the inner and outer surfaces of the cell. These are the hydrophilic regions. In contrast, their tail regions, which repel water, face each other. These are the hydrophobic regions. Now picture the lipid bilayer as a sea. Floating in the sea are various types of proteins. Some proteins, called integral proteins, span the entire thickness of the bilayer. They are like the bridges connecting the inside of the cell to the outside world. These proteins are involved in transporting substances across the cell membrane. Then there are peripheral proteins that are attached to either the inner or outer surface of the cell membrane. Think of them as the lifeguards of the cell. These proteins are involved in functions such as cell signaling and maintaining the cell's shape. Lastly, we have glycoproteins, which are integral proteins with carbohydrate chains attached. These are the cell's ID cards, allowing the body to recognize its own cells and differentiate them from foreign cells. But let's not forget about cholesterol. Nestled among the fatty acid chains of the phospholipids, cholesterol helps regulate the fluidity of the cell membrane, ensuring it's neither too rigid nor too fluid. In this way, the cell membrane maintains a delicate balance, allowing the cell to interact with its environment while also protecting its precious contents. As you can see, every component of the cell membrane has a unique and crucial role. Now that we understand the structure, what about the function of the cell membrane? In essence, the cell membrane is the unsung hero of cellular life, taking on several crucial roles to ensure the cell's survival and proper functioning. Let's delve into some of these key functions. The first function is protection. Imagine the cell as a bustling city, and the cell membrane is its fortified wall, guarding against the intrusion of harmful substances. It shields the cell from the external environment and prevents unwanted materials from entering, while also stopping the cell's contents from leaking out. Next, we have the transport of substances. The cell membrane is not just a passive barrier, it's an active participant in the movement of substances in and out of the cell. It regulates the passage of vital molecules like oxygen, nutrients, and waste products, ensuring that the cell gets what it needs and discards what it doesn't. This process can occur through various means, such as diffusion, osmosis, or active transport. Signal reception is another key function. The cell membrane is a bit like a cellular antenna. It contains receptor proteins that pick up signals from other cells or the environment. These signals can trigger a wide range of responses, from changing the cell's behavior to starting the process of cell division. Finally, the cell membrane helps in maintaining homeostasis, that is, a stable internal environment. It controls the balance of water, ions, and other substances within the cell. By doing so, it ensures the cell can function optimally, despite changes in the external environment. In a nutshell, the cell membrane is the cell's security guard, courier service, signal receiver, and homeostasis maintainer, all rolled into one. It's a multitasking marvel that allows each cell to function as a miniature organism in its own right, interacting with its surroundings while protecting its precious inner workings. These functions make the cell membrane a vital component for the survival and function of the cell. The cell membrane has several unique features that make it stand out. Let's take a moment to explore some of these fascinating characteristics. First off, we have the fluid mosaic model. Imagine a sea of lipids, with proteins bobbing up and down like icebergs. This model illustrates the dynamic and flexible nature of the membrane. It's not a rigid structure but a fluid, constantly changing entity. The lipids and proteins move around, changing positions, allowing the membrane to adapt and respond to the cell's needs. Next, let's talk about selective permeability. The cell membrane isn't just a barrier, it's a gatekeeper, deciding what gets in and what stays out. It allows certain molecules to pass through while blocking others, ensuring the cell maintains a stable internal environment. This selective permeability is crucial for the cell's survival. Lastly, we can't overlook the cell membrane's ability to repair itself. If the membrane gets damaged, it doesn't just fall apart. Instead, it has the remarkable capacity to heal and restore its structure. This self-repair mechanism is vital for maintaining the integrity of the cell. These are just a few of the unique features of the cell membrane, but they serve to illustrate its complexity. It's not just a simple barrier, it's a dynamic, selective, and resilient structure that plays a crucial role in cellular function. These features further highlight the complexity and importance of the cell membrane. In a nutshell, the cell membrane is a biological masterpiece. We've journeyed through the intricate world of the cell membrane, a marvel of nature that serves as the gatekeeper to our cells. It's a structure so complex yet so meticulously designed that it truly captures the beauty of the biological world. Let's take a moment to retrace our steps. We started off by addressing the basics of the cell membrane. It's a thin, flexible barrier that surrounds all cells, acting as a selective filter that allows certain substances in while keeping others out. This selective permeability is crucial for maintaining the cell's internal environment and enabling it to function correctly. Then, we delved deeper into the structure of the cell membrane. We learned that it's primarily composed of a lipid bilayer with embedded proteins that perform various functions. These proteins can act as channels, allowing specific molecules to pass through, or as receptors, which receive signals from the outside world and relay them into the cell. We also discussed the function of the cell membrane, which is not just to protect the cell, but also to regulate what goes in and out. It's a dynamic structure, constantly adjusting and adapting to meet the cell's needs. The cell membrane also communicates with other cells and responds to changes in the environment, playing a key role in processes like cell signaling and immune response. Finally, we touched upon the unique features and characteristics of the cell membrane. Despite its uniform appearance, the cell membrane is a mosaic of different components, each with its own specific function. This fluid mosaic model further emphasizes the dynamic nature of the cell membrane and how it's constantly shifting and changing while still maintaining its overall integrity and function. Understanding the cell membrane not only gives us insight into how cells function, but also opens doors to numerous applications in medicine and biotechnology. Whether it's developing targeted drug delivery systems, creating artificial cells for research, or understanding the mechanisms of various diseases, the humble cell membrane is at the heart of it all. It's a testament to the incredible complexity and ingenuity of life at the microscopic level.